my goodness, is that Bo-Katan? Hello there, welcome back to my channel. My name is SKYMAN Universe, and today we're going to be reacting to Season 2, Episode 3, Chapter 11 of The Mandalorian. Still getting over last week's episode with those bloody creepy spiders. They just sort of did it for me. They were just so horrible. Pretty sure if they've cropped up in my dreams since then as well. But it was a great episode as well. There was like the cameos of Dave Filoni, that was pretty cool. The X-Wings. There was a lot more humour, I'd say, in that one. The first Boba Fett one, I mean, was still amazing. I watched it again because I love it so much. I've had multiple dreams of crate dragons. I don't know why, but it's just happened. And Baby Yoda eating the eggs, I still don't know how I feel about that. Like, he literally was single-handedly wiping out entire species, or the last of it, like a genocide if he kept eating those if the Mandalorian didn't find him. So yeah, but he's not old, well, maybe he is 50 years old, but he doesn't know what he's doing. But there was lots of humorous bits with the exchange between the Mandalorian and the X-Wing patrol pilots as well, Dave Filoni and some other chat. That was so funny. The fight in the clouds and things, I thought that was awesome. That was really good and intense, and it was, you almost felt like you was in flying with the Mandalorian, so that was really cool. I literally have no idea what will be happening in this episode, except what I imagine would be at the start of the trailer that we saw for this season, where the Mandalorian ship Razor Crest is floating through space and it's all damaged. But he's going to that planet for more information about the Mandalorians and where to find them. So I don't know if that person we run into as well, like there's a girl with a hooded cloak, and I don't know if she's of any importance. She's kind of made out to be in the trailer, but I literally, and this is what I kind of like as well, I literally have no idea what is going to happen in this episode. Like, I kind of had no idea at all, actually, apart from the start of chapter 1, when they were doing the big old fight thing and the Gamorrean guards, which was pretty funny. But I had no idea it was going to go to Tatooine. I had no idea about the spiders last time, and this time I don't know what sort of surprise we're in for this time. The crate dragons is still the best, and Boba Fett for me. But I really, really, really hope so much that this episode is going to beat it somehow. It's really late for me here at the moment as well. It's like 1 o'clock AM, or 1:30, or it's close to 2. So I've got tons of snacks, keep me awake, and yeah, let's get stuck right in. Okay. That bit is awesome. That freaking bit, oh no. Change the title. Just as Count Dooku predicted. I'll check your eggs if I was you. This is cool. This takes me back to Revenge of the Sith days. You know, strap yourselves in. There's a trap! I think I love that noise. Luck, boss. That's something would happen. That's pretty cool. Good to see some old school Star Wars aliens. Yeah, I wouldn't count them, mate. I feel like maybe she was the one who built the Mandalorian's armor. It's probably her. That's just my guess. It's probably her. I'll have a calamari with a side order of ugh. I was really interested to see the boat. Why don't they just use a speeder? Oh. It's bloody cracking. Oh my goodness, is that Bo-Katan? That is sick if that's Bo-Katan.
I was hoping that...
It is, isn't it?
Thank Ferric.
That's so good.
I am Bo-Katan.
Of Clan Kreese.
I love that.
I am the last of my line.
Your sister was Satine?
There is only one way. The way of the Mandalore.
That's the only way. That's interesting. This should be good. That was pretty awesome.
They're staging weapons.
I love that he's not removing his helmet. As stubborn as I probably would be. I love Bo-Katan. I love that she's in it.
Anyone who goes to the Jedi.
What do you know of the Jedi?
Nothing. I was hoping you would help me by Creed.
Ugh. Ew. Oh. It's that guy I've lost.
Seal the hatch.
It's Jacob's brother. I love this. This is great. This is so good. I wish I was in it. I don't care what role.
Close the doors. Close the doors. Which one? All of them. All of them. Where? In the cargo control area.
Why did that happen?
We need backup immediately.
Is that Gideon?
Are these the same
Yes.
pirates that have attacked our run?
They've breached the cargo hold and taken everything.
I
but
love
the
his
bridge.
theme.
We
It's great.
require immediate backup.
If they've taken them, long live the Empire.
Long live the Empire.
They're taking the ship down!
Bloody hell, man, that was intense. Oh, man.
He won't.
Bloody hell.
We have to go. There you will find Ahsoka Tano.
I knew it.
You were sent by Bo-Katan.
That's so cool.
Your bravery will not be forgot. This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way. I mean, my fingers were crossed and hoping it was Luke Skywalker. Just like a tiny bit. I forgot he had his jetpack. What the hell is he doing? The kid eats the babies, or the eggs. He eats the frogs in season 1 on that planet as well. Very dangerous living with them. I don't think he can handle it. I don't trust him. Made a lot of modifications, kid. She may not look like much, but she's got it where it counts. Oh. I don't know why, but I thought Bo-Katan kind of looked like Bryce Dallas Howard as well. Was it her that was playing her? I don't even know. Bo-Katan, that was a great surprise. Like, I kind of guessed that it was going to be her. But then to see them all show up like that was just awesome. Like, I love that so much. And it was an episode where I think my favourite thing in that, despite seeing Bo-Katan in there, and you kind of guessed that it was going to be Ahsoka that would be the Jedi that he was going to see. That Empire scene there, this is perfect. This is so what the Empire always needs, because I think, like the First Order, the Empire, the First Order was always kind of ridiculed. Like, you've seen it before, and it kind of had no, it wasn't meaningful. It wasn't a force to be reckoned with. Like, sure, they had Stark at the base, but you didn't see that sort of human action, really. And the same sometimes, like what we've seen with the Empire, we haven't seen that true sort of, like, human evil shit that they are capable of. So seeing that when Gideon's like, Moff Gideon, like, you know what to do, as in crash it and kill yourselves doing it. That is the kind of mentality what you would expect from the Empire. The Empire is fanatical and bad, and to see that personified in that scene, I thought that was great. It was really eerie, but then it's just, I wanted to applaud, because that's just exactly what the Empire is, what needs to be. I mean, the remnants of the Empire anyway, but to me it makes them seem more formidable and someone to be more scared of, if that makes sense. Like, there's just a little more added element of fear when the Empire comes on now. And when you see characters like that, I love that chap, Jacob's brother out of Lost as well. I thought he played a great Imperial officer, and to have that, like, which is obviously meant to be a cyanide, like a Star Wars cyanide thing where he bites onto it and then he kills himself. I mean, that was kind of creepy, the whole of that scene, but it was an awesome scene as well. I thought the fight scene with the stormtroopers was awesome, and the Mandalorians, and then to see that coward Imperial officer, I think it was a coward, but it was duck in there, that was funny as well. So this was like, it felt proper Star Warsy. I think that's probably the main thing to say about this episode. It felt just like a proper Star Wars thing. I didn't feel like I was taken out of it at all. I had the Mon Calamaris and then those pirate squid faces, which I should probably know the name of, especially if I just watched Clone Wars recently. But yeah, to have them in there, so it was like really Star Warsy. That squid thing on the pirate ship, that was very creepy as well. The Kraken, should we say. And I kind of guessed as well that those pirates were going to do something. Like, they just came across as those sort of untrustworthy people. And of course in the trailer as well, you saw that he was in water at one point, and like these bars, like the cage above, like I remember that from the trailer. So you knew as soon as he's on the boat, it's gonna go tits up at some point. But when all the Mandalorians flew in, that was great. And it just felt like the transition between Clone Wars and this, like turning the animation into live action, I think is amazing. Like, the costumes on Bo-Katan and the other Mandalorians were just superb. Like, it looked just, because usually there's that slight difference. I don't know how to explain it, but there's always something that just feels a little bit off. Like the Trandoshans in the Clone Wars, like they're full size, they're like huge people, like how they're portrayed in Empire Strikes Back as well. Really tall. He didn't move around, he just stood there. Obviously, probably because he was on stilts as well. But then to have that translated when we saw a couple of Trandoshans as bounty hunters in the early chapters, then it didn't come across right. Like, everyone's just human level, and that was it. So to see the transition from Clone Wars to this as the Mandalorians, and see all the helmets, like Bo-Katan looked awesome, and it kind of gave me feels knowing that she was Satine, Duchess Satine's sister there as well. So it's like those links that make me feel emotional, and it's those ties to her, Mandalore, Obi-Wan, Darth Maul. And for some reason I thought Darth Maul was alive during this. I don't know why, but it's just reference to Darksaber. It's like, you still hunting that thing, like still trying to get Mandalore and the power struggle there. So I'd be very interested to see what is actually going on in Mandalore at the moment, and who's ruling it, and what the hell is going on there. Like, I've always enjoyed the Mandalorian stories. I've never not liked them. I've always really enjoyed them, but for me, I've always been more drawn towards Jedi, Sith, and that sort of mythology. And then I think the Mandalorian stuff comes second. Like, the end of the season finale for Clone Wars was awesome. To see the Republic go down there, that was something I hadn't seen before. To sort of go back to that, it's like they're just in constant wars and struggles, and I don't want it to be repeated. You know, trying to find a Darksaber again, and this constant need to have the Darksaber. I like that Moff Gideon's got the Darksaber. I think he's awesome. I think he's a great actor. I loved him in the end of season 1, and his theme as well is amazing. Like, I've been playing that after I first saw him on the earlier chapters. So I played that on repeat because he was so good. I think he's a really great bad guy. Sorry, my eyes are closing, it's so late. But I was really intrigued when they started removing the helmets on the Mandalorians, because I seem to remember Mandalore, to me, back in Clone Wars days, everyone had like really yellow hair and purple pupils, and I was like curious whether they'd go down that route as well, to like have proper Mandalorian, because I've just seen them as like proper Mandalorian people. Obviously, being a live action and plus being a Kathleen Kennedy production, I doubt that it was going to be anything like that. It's just like those tiny details which I pick up on. That was just one of the nerd things inside me, because I'm a sado, basically. But overall, I really love this episode. So does that mean after this episode that next chapter, next week, we're going to see Ahsoka Tano? Is he going straight to Ahsoka Tano? I really hope that he does, but the state of the Razor Crest at the moment is terrible. And with the string, like, holding things together. I love this episode. I thought this was great. The season 2 seems so much more stronger, and like season 1 it sort of set everything up and there was sort of things slowly got underway, but season 2 is just like bam, straight in there. Like I said in the last chapter, there seems to be a monster in every single one, and this one there very much was another monster, but I was surprised the Mandalorian didn't go in there and just sort it out himself. But something which I loved so much was the interaction between those style of Mandalorians. I didn't even realise, but when they took the helmets off, like when we was watching the Clone Wars and the final season, when they took the helmets off then, I was like, they're not like the Mandalorian. This is the way. And then to see them do it there, and I was thinking, but it was so natural for them to take their helmets off, and I didn't think twice about that. It was only when the Mandalorian, it's cut back to him, he's still got his helmet, and I was like, oh crap, he's still got his helmet on. So to address that, like why some of them take their helmets off and some of them don't, like the old school Mandalorian, that I love that. The interaction was so good there, because a lot of people have talked about that. I've talked to other people about that before. And so to have that kind of address by two sides of the Mandalorian is really good as well. Like the Mandalorians, there's so much scope for so many different clans and things. I think that's why it appeals so many people. Like the Boba Fett armor is awesome. So to have the Mandalorians and so many clans and things, like that gives opportunity for so many different types of armor there as well. But of course, like I love the Pre-Vizsla armor. That was awesome. The Darth Maul styled armor there as well. That was equally as awesome. But yeah, overall, love the episode. So great. Can't wait to see what happens in the next one. Whether it is Ahsoka, we're actually going to see Ahsoka, I don't know. I mean, but I feel like it's been left in quite a big cliffhanger. I had to keep checking there throughout as well, because I didn't want this episode to end, and I hate it when it gets like 5 minutes left and you know nothing else is happening there. Like, you know it's going to be the next episode, but I like to keep my fingers crossed and just have a little Easter egg kind of at the end, cliffhanger. But those are my thoughts of what I thought about it. Very, very, very happy with this episode. I thought it was great. Another great one. I'm loving this season at the moment. And the fact that I've been rewatching them so many times as well, and the first chapter is always a good sign. So let me know what you think and what your favourite bits were. And if you think we're actually going to see Ahsoka next time, that is the question. But until next time, take care of yourself. And remember, the Force will be with you always. Time for bed.